Wendy Woollett is the author of a number of plays, including the Montana Monologs and the Lost Montana Monolog. She beat cancer 4 times. She is retired from producing theater and is now recreating her life as a nonfiction writer. She's at work on the Little Wendy Stories and a book celebrating Montana's ranch women. She thanks you for supporting Tell Us Something and the producers of Tell Us Something for this special opportunity. Wendy is honored to finally have her story heard. She calls her story The Blackfoot River Horse. Please welcome Wendy Woollett.
Yes, thank you. The first time I saw the Blackfoot River Horse, he was pastured at mile marker 7 on Highway 200 going up the Blackfoot. The reason I remember that is that 7 is my lucky number. He was a beautiful white horse you could see easily from the highway. And I've always had an affinity for white horses, starting with the Lone Ranger in silver on 50s TV, and moving up to Uncle Bo's white gelding, who I always thought was a stallion, named Snow, and then moving to teenage movies, Marlon Brando as Emil Zapata in Viva Zapata. You know, the Mexican nationals mow him down, he's a Mexican revolutionary, and his white horse gets away, to become a great legend in Mexico to this day. So, there's more white horse stories, but I don't have time. So this white horse I saw at mile marker 7 the first time in about 1992 when I was living with a married man, drinking heavily, gambling, stealing grocery money, stealing newspapers, and counting how many bottles of wine it would take me to get through a weekend of camping with my boyfriend Sam. He took early times ditch, I took white wine and red wine. And that's how we camped. And we went up the Blackfoot, past mile marker 7 to Gold Creek Road. Turn left at Gold Creek, go down there and find all these camping places. And the reason we did that was we harvested our firewood that way. I was on Stelazine, Zoloft, and drinking at the time. But I still remember that beautiful white horse, and every time we went by the white horse, pastured in this kind of pie-shaped pasture right along the river with a double-wide trailer, a beautiful double-wide trailer, I thought, I want that horse, I want that life. I want, legitimacy. I want more than I've got. Those people are so lucky to have that beautiful white horse. So it meant freedom to me at the time, and there was a lot of envy there. And then in 1998, I quit drinking, and I left the married man, and I moved into, guess where? The Wilma building. When it was affordable, 4th floor of the Wilma building. And that was great, because you could hear like the Moody Blues for free, and Jimmy Cliff for free, and all you had to do is open the window, 4th floor. So I saw a lot of good concerts there, and I sobered up, and I changed my life. And I haven't lived with a married man again since. Anyway, so then I was going up the Blackfoot River for different reasons. About 2000, I started writing the Montana Monologs, and I interviewed a woman who lived in Shoto, Dorothy O'Neill, who was like a mom to me. I just loved Dorothy. She gave up a ranch. She lived in the Skyline Lodge, and I'd go up the Blackfoot, go to Shoto, and interview her for about 9 months, every other weekend, transcribe the tapes, come back. And then I was going up the Blackfoot to go fishing with my son, who would come to visit me from Iowa, who may or may not be here. He's a firefighter. Go, Caleb. And he's a singer-songwriter, by the way. Caleb Coffey, look for his CDs. So I would go up the fishing with Caleb. One time he didn't get his license. I warned him, but he still got a ticket, $150. But we won't talk about that anymore. So as I'm going up the river, sober, the Blackfoot River Horse still means a lot to me, and I stop and pet him and talk to him, and I don't know who owns him or anything, but at one point in those years going up the Blackfoot, my horse disappeared. That white horse disappeared, and so did the double-wide trailer. And in its place was built a beautiful kit log home, you know the kind, trophy home, with the nice garage and the apartment over it, and the landscaped driveway and the gravel and the beautiful vehicles, $50,000 each. And it was a real grieving process for me to let go of that horse, because it meant a lot to me as I went up the Blackfoot. In 2007, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I lost my left kidney, my spleen, 40% of my pancreas, and so I named my right kidney Joan after Joan of Arc. Guess why? She rode a white horse. And the gift was I was able to produce the Montana Monologs as a fundraiser for cancer patients in September of 2007. My surgery was in January of 2007. So now I'm going up the Blackfoot with my then oncologist Judy Schmidt's great motorcycle runs up the Blackfoot to the Double Arrow doing cancer fundraisers. And I did some other cancer fundraisers since then. So that was kind of part of my recovery, is giving back. Then at a certain point, my ex-husband came to visit, and he and my son went up the Blackfoot and stayed. Mile marker 14 is Bear Creek Road, perimeter of the beautiful Potomac Valley, and we stayed at my friend Penny Kukuk's sheep ranch there when she was in Australia. And I wrote a play there called My Ex-Husband's Visit. It was a comedy. But anyway, you're not supposed to say but anyway, but I'm going to. So, the Blackfoot River Horse had disappeared. I got sober, my life got better, and then the cancer deal, and a few other episodes with cancer. And then one day, I'm writing a play in the prime of my life, having been gifted with being able to do cancer fundraisers and all that. And I'm at Penny Kukuk's house, which is a old cabin that's been refurbished, beautiful place, wood-burning stove, the whole thing. And I'm typing away, and I look out the window, and there's the white horse. The same white horse. I'm not sure, but it sure looks like it. So I tell Penny, that looks like the Blackfoot River Horse that was at mile marker 7 all those years. I got to go find out. And she said, well, go up and talk to Les. Les owned the ranch next to her. He had llamas and this white horse. It was a big white horse. So I went up and talked to Les, and sure enough, it was the same horse. His name was Odge. He was now 26. When I first saw him, he was 6. And I talked to Les a little bit, and he said the reason he was pasturing him was that his owner, Lisa Zimmerman, had died of breast cancer. And the reason that double-wide trailer was no longer there was they had to sell that property to pay for her cancer bills, her medical bills. So I guess the lesson for me was, to be happy with who you are, because envying someone else isn't the whole story. You don't know the story. So evidently Lisa had raised the horse from a colt, and had played around the Ponderosa Pines with him. He was a big horse. He was part Percheron and Arabian, and she said he could go all day long. They had to race him around potato fields to wear him out. And I told Les that I would have to develop a story about the Blackfoot River Horse, which I'm trying to do now. I haven't written it out yet because Mark won't let us. He says you have to just tell it. So, but anyway, when I found out it was my Blackfoot River Horse, I went out to the pasture and I hugged him around the neck, Gelding horses smell really good. They have a certain smell. If you're a horse person, you know that. And I talked to him and I thanked him. I thanked him for being Lisa's friend all those years and for being my landmark in my life's journey. And then when I got home and started thinking about this story, and I'm almost done, I looked up white horses on the internet, you know, the mythology of white horses. And one of the things a white horse has always done in mythology is transported its rider from one world to another.